Hey everyone, my name is Diana Garcia. I'm a licensed mental health counselor in Florida, owner of a private practice called Nurturing Minds Counseling. Okay, I'm continuing my monthly book therapy video series, so I'm actually going to throw up some slides now. The goal of this series is to pick one book a month that I highlight, pick out key insights, and hopefully encourage you to read the book. But if you never read the book, at least this video is helpful and you get some insights just from watching this. Okay, so to jump in, this month's pick is Permission to Feel, Unlocking the Power of Emotions to Help Our Kids, Ourselves, and Our Society Thrive by Dr. Marc Brackett. Book was published in 2019, so it's pretty recent. As you can see from all the stickies that I have on this book, there was a lot of good content in this book, so it was actually really hard to pick out the key insights, and that's why I actually broke down this month's videos into more than one. So I'm going to start with just a quick summary, but not spend too much time because I really want to get into the key insights. Part one, it's pretty much just talking a little bit about his story and ultimately what led him to be the director of the Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence. He also talks about why this book is relevant and important to all of us because emotions impact so many different realms of our lives, including learning, decision-making, health, relationships, etc. He also has a term that's called becoming an emotional scientist. Pretty much that's just learning to be open and curious to your emotional experience, learning to recognize when you're having an emotional experience, and learning to understand and figure out what you need, or if you're in an emotional interaction with someone else, maybe what the other person needs or how you can help each other, okay? Part two, it's about what he calls this acronym, his ruler skills, which we'll go through in the key insights. And then part three is just how you can apply these skills in different areas of your life. So to shift to the key insights, like I said, ruler is an acronym for 5 different skills that he says if you learn how to do, you become an emotional scientist or just better able at managing and understanding your emotions. So the first R you can see here, which is going to be the first one that we go through today. So that's the key insights that I'm going to go through in these videos are the ruler skills, because even though there was so much other content, I think these core skills are really helpful. Okay, so the first R in the recognizing emotion. So that's the skill where you just start to learn to routinely pause and check in with yourself. And I know you're thinking like, okay, yeah, like duh, this is just easy common sense, but it's really not. It's really a skill that you have to learn to practice. Like you need to learn how to routinely check in with yourself emotionally to see if anything's changed. And this is a skill, especially if you've never really learned how to do this or wasn't really encouraged, right? A lot of us received messages about emotions where we just don't do that. So in order to start recognizing emotion, it's really going to be something that you have to become used to doing and feel comfortable doing. So a couple of clues, it's for you to start recognizing if there's any physical sensations that come along with specific feelings for you, or if there's just any other clues for yourself that something has shifted internally. If you're engaging with someone else or even for yourself, changes in body language or tone are good clues. And then the mood meter is something else that can help with this step, but I'm going to explain that in later slides. So that's the R. So you've recognized you had an emotional experience, you paused and you checked in with yourself. The U, the next step, it's the understanding emotion. So this is the step where you kind of, okay, you realize you've gotten caught, something shifted, and now the U, it's like, what's going on? Like, why did things shift? What happened here? So the real key concept in this step is to really stay out of judgment. And that's really important because in this step, there can be a lot of different reasons if there's not one size fits all. And I also, my own personal caveat with this step is that, yes, sometimes there's a very clear understanding as to maybe why you're feeling a certain way. So for instance, if I broke up with a partner, yesterday, and then today I wake up feeling sad, maybe I'm grieving, maybe I'm crying, right? Having this emotional experience, of course it would kind of make sense, right? It's a very clear kind of situation than like a preceding or following emotional experience, which of course it kind of makes sense. But not all emotional experiences follow that very clear-cut path. And so that's my caveat. It's sometimes when you try to figure out why and there isn't very clear understanding, even after you've done some of like the internal work of questioning and figuring it out, it's okay to let this go and just understand that maybe you don't know the specific reason why. But here are some questions that you can ask yourself in order to help you understand what could have shifted, what could have played a role. Sometimes things that happen maybe at home show up at work, or vice versa. Things that happen at work somehow end up showing up at home. And maybe there's patterns with someone. Maybe you've had situations with them in the past that you've never addressed. That could be contributing to this current emotional experience that you're having. And if we're talking about this step in relation to someone else, what's really important here is when you're trying to understand someone else's emotional experience, if you're afraid or if you get defensive because you think it's going to be your fault, that can really show up as a wall or a barrier for you to be open to listening. So just kind of keep that in mind, that when you're trying to do this with a partner or friend, someone you're in relationship with, really trying to stay open and out of judgment, and also trying to manage your own kind of feelings of maybe defensiveness if you think it might be your fault. Okay. So we're going to stop here and we're going to continue with the next skills in the following video, but I hope this was helpful, and you can see on the screen all the different ways you can stay in touch with me. If you're finding me on YouTube, you can just hit subscribe so you'll know when the next video and other videos show up. If you're finding me on my website, you can just hit subscribe to my newsletter to find out about more content and other events or services that I'm part of. All right, guys, I hope this was helpful, and I encourage you to continue nurturing your mind, body, and soul, whatever that looks like for you.